They gave me 24 hours to leave my own home. No warning, no legal notice, just a threat taped to my door. But what they didn't know? I had something stronger than any HOA policy, federal ownership papers, and I used them like a hammer. So here's how it all started. I bought a home in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Great price, clean streets, peaceful neighbors. But within a week, a notice appeared on my front door. It said I had 24 hours to vacate my property because of HOA violations. I thought it was a joke. No calls, no hearings, just a typed-up letter from the HOA president threatening to forcibly remove me. The notice listed things like my front door color being non-compliant, my trash bins being visible, a tiny garden gnome being unauthorized decor. Then it ended with, "You have 24 hours to vacate or face legal consequences." I was stunned. I checked my mailbox, nothing official. Checked my email, nothing. Just this homemade-looking letter stuck on my door like a pizza flyer. So I started digging. I pulled out my purchase documents. I looked up the HOA charter. Surprised, there was no registered HOA authority over my property. Even better, because my home was part of a federal housing program. I had legal protections most HOAs couldn't override. Basically, the land was under a federal ownership clause, meaning no HOA could enforce rules unless they were part of the federal agreement. They weren't. So I emailed the HOA and requested a formal meeting. No response. Then I got another notice, this time with bigger font and more threats. So I showed up at the next HOA meeting with my federal ownership papers in hand. I walked in, dropped the file on the table, and said, "Before you threaten anyone else, read this carefully." They flipped through the papers and got quiet real fast. The president tried to argue. I pointed to the clause that voided HOA rules on federally protected properties. One guy said, "We didn't know." I said, "That's not my problem." The room went silent. They retracted the eviction threat within 24 hours, sent me a formal apology in writing, took down all notices from my home, and even removed my address from their HOA map. Some neighbors came up to me later and thanked me, because they were next. Turns out this HOA was operating beyond their jurisdiction for months, maybe years. They'd threatened dozens of residents illegally. After I exposed them, multiple homeowners filed complaints. An investigation was launched. Today, that HOA president isn't allowed to serve on any housing board again. If your HOA ever threatens you, don't panic. Check the paperwork. You have more rights than you think, especially if your home falls under federal or protected zoning. Knowledge is your power. Chos love to bluff, but bluffing doesn't beat federal law. Want to hear how the HOA tried to get revenge using fake city permits? That's in the next story. Smash the like button, subscribe for the next Karen Chronicles, and drop a comment if your HOA's gone wild too. Stay informed, stay protected, and stay free.